Have you ever wished your computer could do more than just, run the programs you click on? What if it could actually become a proactive, autonomous agent that manages your entire digital life? Well, that future is a lot closer than you might think. Let's dive into the complete guide for OpenClaw and see how you can build one for yourself. And I mean, seriously, just think about that for a second. An assistant that can sort through your emails, manage your calendar, and even write code for you, all from a simple text message. This isn't science fiction anymore. It's the very real promise of a seriously powerful open source tool. So what exactly are we talking about here? At its heart, OpenClaw is designed to be your persistent, always-on, 24/7 AI operator. Let's break down what that really means. Now, the key word on this slide is gateway. You should think of OpenClaw as this long-running process on your machine that's always on, always listening. It takes messages from the apps you already use every day, like WhatsApp, and routes them to an AI agent that can take real, actual action on your computer. And this is the most crucial part. The ultimate goal here isn't just about automation, it's about control. Because you host it yourself, your data, your connections, your AI's actions, it all stays on your machine. In an age of endless cloud services, this means you own the entire stack, from the hardware all the way up to the AI's decisions. So, how does this stack up against other tools you might have heard of, something like Claude Code? Well, while they might feel similar, the key difference here is freedom. OpenClaw isn't locked into a single platform like Slack. It's fully self-hosted, and it's built to connect with a huge range of applications. That just gives you so much more power and flexibility. Okay, so how do you actually bring one of these agents to life? Well, it turns out setting one up isn't just a technical task. It's almost a creative one. You're not just running a script. You are literally defining a personality, a digital companion. This is literally the first thing your agent says to you when it wakes up. It has no name, no memories, just a blinking cursor. It's a total blank slate, just waiting for you to tell it who and what it's going to become. It's a pretty wild moment, honestly. And how do you give it that personality? Well, you don't need to be some master coder. The agent's entire brain, its identity, its memories, its instructions, is all built from a collection of simple text files. And that's a big deal because it makes customizing your agent incredibly accessible to, well, just about anyone. And this just shows you how simple it is. The agent.md file, that's its soul. You can tell it to be an energetic AI ambassador named Nova. Then you have heartbeat.md. That's its recurring to-do list, the tasks it checks on every hour. And user.md is basically its notebook about you, helping it remember context. It's brilliant. And get this, because its entire brain is just a folder full of text files, you can treat it like any other code project. You can back it up with Git. That means if you switch computers, you can just pull down the repository and boom, your agent, personality, and all comes right back to life on the new machine. Okay, so we've created an agent, we've given it a personality. Now let's give it some tools. This is where OpenClaw goes from being a cool concept to a genuinely useful assistant that can actually interact with your digital world. And the toolkit is pretty extensive. We're not talking about abstract tasks here. This is about connecting directly to the digital ecosystem you already live in, from messaging and email to your personal notes in social media. This is an absolutely mind-blowing example of what's possible. I mean, think about it. You can be away from your desk, send a quick text to your agent, and have it run a command on your computer to check your code repositories. Then it just messages you back with the results. That is some serious real-world automation. So how does it learn to do all this stuff? It's through something called skills. Honestly, the best way to think about these is like apps for your agent. Each skill is a simple file that teaches the agent how to interact with a new program or an API, like how to send a tweet or how to read your notes in Obsidian. And the best part is, you don't have to build all these skills yourself. There's something called ClawHub that acts as a community-driven app store. You can just browse and install new capabilities for your agent with a single command, just like installing a package with pip. Now, this is where things get really, really powerful. If a skill you need doesn't exist, you can just ask the agent to create it. You can literally tell it, hey, write a Python script to send emails from my Gmail, and it will generate the code, create the skill file, and add that new skill to its own toolkit. It's incredible. Now, we've talked a lot about the amazing power of this tool, but with that kind of power comes some pretty significant risk. So let's get serious for a minute and talk about security. Let's be perfectly clear about this. When you run OpenClaw, you are granting an AI model root access. Think of that as giving it the master key to your entire computer. It can read, write, and delete any file it wants, no questions asked. This is not something to be taken lightly at all. The biggest threat here is something called prompt injection. Imagine it like a digital con artist tricking your AI. Someone could send a cleverly hidden instruction inside a normal-looking message, fooling your agent into running a command like rm-rf/, which could wipe your entire hard drive. This is a very real risk. So, how do you protect yourself? First, use the smartest AI models you can get your hands on, like Claude 4.5, because they're just better at resisting this kind of manipulation. Second, you should really consider running the agent on a separate, dedicated server. And third, and this is completely non-negotiable, never, ever, ever put your agent in a public chat room. But the real gold standard for security is a technique called sandboxing. This basically involves using tech like Docker to run your agent inside a completely isolated digital container. You're effectively building a secure, padded room between it and your main computer. And setting it up is actually a pretty straightforward process. You just choose which agents you want to sandbox, decide if they each get their own private container, and then you activate it. Just like that, the agent is locked in its own secure environment. And this right here perfectly illustrates the result. If you ask an unsandboxed agent to look at your desktop, it'll happily list out all your files. But if you ask a sandboxed agent that same question, it'll tell you straight up that it can't, because its entire world is limited to the inside of that container. That is real protection in action. So we're left with this fascinating tension, right? OpenClaw offers you the power to build a truly personalized AI assistant with just incredible capabilities. So the final question is, with that kind of power in your hands, what are you going to build? And more importantly, how are you going to protect it?